Hello, hello. How's everyone doing today? Alright, so testing 1, 2, 3. Can everyone hear me? Ah, okay, good. Glad to hear that. Just booting up the game and then we'll be on our way. Hope everyone's having a really good Thursday. I know I am. Alright, and bam. Okay, it's first time streaming on YouTube, so it's gonna take a little bit for me to get used to it, but I think it works. Yeah, I think we're good. Can you guys see the game? Yeah, okay, you can. Okay, so just gonna take it a little easy, and after a good few minutes, I'll just share about some of the things that I've been up to lately, because it has been a while. So right now I'm playing as the Thalassodromeus in Path of Titans. For those who don't know, Path of Titans is a dinosaur survival sim where you're able to take control of, grow, and play as a dinosaur, or even non-dinosaurs like this pterosaur. So yeah, I like Path of Titans. Like, to me, this is a very relaxing game, which is why I enjoy playing it. So yeah, the Thalassodromeus in question, it's a pterosaur from South America. A fairly large pterosaur, actually. At its full-grown size, it can look an adult person in the eye. So very, very big boys. They're really cool too. Neat thing about this particular species is that they have one of the strongest bite forces of all known pterosaur species. And they likely did this for hunting prey on the ground. Although, unfortunately, in this particular game, they are treated more like Pteranodon in that they are capable of diving after fish, which this particular species almost certainly wasn't doing. But yeah, I think it's about time we give a little bit of an update. Yes, it is in fact the Anomalocaris guy. But yeah, I think it's about time I give a little update on what's been going on. And first off, apologies that it's taken so long. A lot has happened since the last video that I uploaded. Which, by the way, big shout outs to my friend. the one who put together the comeback video from a while back. Big shout outs to him. Absolutely incredible friend. I would not be half the man I am today if not for him. But yeah, as for what's been going on, first off, regarding the comeback video, because I did mention I was considering doing videos again. Unfortunately, I had spent a long time working on another video. I had a script written out. I got some software and was messing around with editing for it. And the main thing I realized is that video making is just not as fun now as it was back in high school. My heart just wasn't in it. I wasn't enjoying it. And after spending a really long time getting a script together, recording it, and then pretty much being at the step where I was ready for editing, I just didn't like the results. The big thing was I didn't feel my script writing or the way I was speaking felt very natural. Because the big focus for my videos was I wanted them to feel very relaxed and not necessarily not professional, but just something that people can listen to and not feel overwhelmed with information on talking points. Like, the main thing I wanted to do with videos was start a discussion with people and just talk about various aspects of paleontology and dinosaurs in media. And it wasn't something I could see myself doing like I had originally hoped. And to further complicate matters, and this is the big reason why everything took so long, is that I was not, well, to put it as simply, the simplest terms possible, my PhD project was not going the way I had hoped. So if you recall, I mentioned that I would be starting a PhD after the video that had gotten accepted. I won't be giving any details, but I was not just not I would just it wasn't right for me for various aspects that I won't get into. I just was not, my heart wasn't in it. It didn't feel right. It wasn't a good fit for me, and so I unfortunately had to leave the PhD program. That isn't to say that I've given up. I have tried very much so over the past year and a half to continue looking for PhD programs. And while so far I have not found any, I am still looking. And in fact, very recently I got into contact with another potential supervisor, this time in Canada, so closer to home for me. And we'll see where that goes. But if it doesn't work, I'll keep looking for PhD programs, but even if not, there are some job areas of work that I might go into that, while not paleontology related, are still something that I genuinely feel passion for. And so don't let this be a don't take this in a negative light for those of you who have inspired, and I should mention this, by the way. I've read every comment on the Tribute to Nomalakaris video, every single one of them. And it genuinely touches my heart how that stupid video and the follow-up one have inspired a lot of people. Because really that's what I want in life. So, if anything, I think that should be a big takeaway from this stream. If things don't work out, don't give up. Don't assume that things are not going to get better. There are going to be rough patches, but you can get through them. And you can come out a better person for it. So yeah, that's pretty much where I've been at the moment, just trying to find my next steps in life. And I am very sorry to say about the lack of videos, but that isn't to say that I'm not up to anything at the moment. Because while I don't think I'll be doing videos anytime soon, I do have plans that I'm working on, and I will get more into those later on, but for now I just want to relax with all you and see how things are going. Thanks, Hallow. That means a lot to hear that. So, yeah, speaking of the Thalassodromeus, though, this is actually a kind of behavior that it was probably not unlikely for it to do in the past. Being a carnivore with a strong bite force, it was almost certainly taking up carrion, although unlike vultures, carrion wasn't its primary means of obtaining food. These were active predators after all. This is more like a falcon scavenging on a carcass than a vulture scavenging on one. Although, I do have some recommendations. Considering I will not be making videos soon, I have a list of various other YouTube channels that I would want to recommend to other people. If, for those of you that were interested in seeing some videos from me covering aspects of paleontology in media and just dinosaurs in general. So first off, if you want a video talking about specifically dinosaurs in media, and especially talking about more obscure pieces rather than the more popular ones like Jurassic Park and Walking with Dinosaurs and the like, I think Dino Diego is a good recommendation. He primarily talks about dinosaurs in film, but he covers a lot of different topics, and he does a really good job at covering more obscure known facts. So that's one I would definitely recommend if you're interested in film and dinosaur representation in film, as well as other pieces of media. It's not just film, but he's a good one for that. However, if you're looking for purely more educational stuff, so talking about paleontology and the news and new discoveries and the like, I've got a few channels for recommendation. First up, we got Benji Thomas. Benji Thomas are two fellow dinosaur enthusiasts who are now currently studying for paleontology, and they've been delivering news on paleontology and all sorts of discoveries for I think well over a year now. I think actually multiple years. So definitely give them a watch. They give really short like updates almost every week on new discoveries, 5 to 10 minute videos, really good just for staying up to date on current news topics without going too in depth. Edge is another one I would recommend. He goes a lot more in depth. His videos can go anywhere from like 10 to 40 minutes, depending on the subject matter. He covers both new topics as well as just big topics in general in the realm of paleontology. So he's also a good recommendation. And for another one that's a little more on the, I guess, mainstream, for lack of a better term, I would recommend PBS Eons. They cover a lot of topics of a variety of stuff. And yeah, their videos are really educational. They have a podcast. and they're just a really good recommendation overall. So I would also recommend them out. Ah, thanks, Oxtrain. It's good. It's always good to share positivity, whether you're receiving or delivering it. If you're interested in topics related to dinosaur gaming, be it either playthroughs, showcases, or even just reviews in general, Red Raptor Writes is a really good one that I would recommend. He's a smaller channel as well, so be sure to give him some views. Joe's Ventures is another really good one I would recommend. Sorry, just got distracted because there's another player here. So yeah, may have forgotten to mention this, but this is also a online multiplayer game. So all the other animals that you see, with the exception of fish and some small critters, are other players. But yeah, no, Red Raptor Writes, he does really good content as well. Joe's Ventures is another solid recommendation. Joe's Ventures covers more paleontological aspects of dinosaurs and gaming. He typically covers a lot of zoo sims, and so he's really good for those as well. I really enjoy his stuff. Skin Over the Carnotaurus is another one I would recommend. He covers a lot of dinosaur sims, similar to Path of Titans, but he covers other stuff as well, and he also has really good discussion videos as well, if you're interested in that. Oh, that's a Sarcosuchus I just heard. And then lastly, and I think this will be one that I would recommend. Oh, hey, Aloe. And this would be another good one that I would recommend for a good number of people, is if you're interested in topics such as Peter Jackson's King Kong, which, as you all know, that was, even though I attributed it on the car, this is what a lot of you may know me for. The first video that I was going to do, or was working on, was a video talking about the speculative zoology aspect of Peter Jackson's King Kong, or speculative evolution, rather. And if you're interested in that topic specifically, I highly, highly, highly recommend the Unnatural History channel, which is in fact the name of a YouTube channel and not of... Yeah, the name of a YouTube channel and not the... not a TV station. He covers a lot of speculative evolution and ecology in fiction. His biggest topic is the Monster Hunter franchise, which is another one that is very near and dear to my heart. And besides that, he also has an extensive video talking specifically about the world of Kong from the Peter Jackson films. So very, very relevant to what I was working on as well. And in fact, I was in that he uploaded that video while I was working on the script for my video, and it ended up covering a lot of the topics I wanted to. So if you were curious for what I would have been talking about, but presented far better than I ever could have done, definitely check out his video on that. It's a great one. And yeah, those are all the channel recommendations I have for those interested in paleontology and paleo media related content. But yeah, that's pretty much a catch up for what's been going on with me. As I mentioned though, I'm not doing nothing, so to speak. I do have things that I have been working on, or rather have started working on recently. So even though the video didn't work out, I have spent a long time trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Since video making isn't working out for me, I wanted to try and find something a bit more fitting. Art has been a big focus of mine. I draw as a hobby, and even besides that, it's just a passion of mine that I really enjoy. So I've been trying to think of something to do with that. And without spoiling too much, because I'm still in the researching phase of this project, but I am working on a large-scale project that I hope to get off the ground within the coming months. And while I don't plan on having any videos to tie into this project, there is a possibility that at some point in the future I may do videos relating to this project. So be on the lookout for that, although it may not be associated with this channel in particular. It is at least something to keep in mind, and I may advertise it as well when I do start working on it. We have I believe that's a Pachycephalosaurus. Yep, that looks like a Pachycephalosaurus. So, if those of you who don't remember these guys from the Lost World Jurassic Park, they're nicknamed boneheads. They're herbivorous or possibly even omnivorous dinosaurs from the Cretaceous period, with very thick domed skulls that were thought primarily to be used in headbutting or possibly even defense, although some research indicates that they may have not used them for combat, as they would have been ill-suited for sustaining those kinds of direct impacts to the head. So as I said, Thalassodromeus in this game can dive in water, but I am not going to, both because that is not a behavior that Thalassodromeus in real life would have done, but also because there are aquatic species in Path of Titans, some of which, actually most of which, are easily capable of hunting and killing a juvenile Thalassodromeus. And so I do not want to risk that. Death in this game is not like other dino survival sims, such as The Isle or Beast of Bermuda, where it completely resets your progress. Rather, all it does is you lose a portion of your growth, but your currency system, which is entirely achieved in-game, there's no pay-to-win aspect in this game, thankfully. You just lose a portion of that. So death is not as severe, but it takes far longer to grow something in this game compared to those other ones. But yeah, that's mostly what I wanted to share. If anyone has questions or anything, I'm free to hear what you got. Okay, it is legal over here, but no, I do not smoke it. All right, yeah, the little starting soon icon that you saw before the stream started was actually done by me. Yeah. I may actually at some point even show all the different species that this game has, and this is a game that is currently still in active development, so there is more stuff coming down the line as well. Actually, I can give you a demonstration of what Thalassodromeus hunting would have been like in the past. Because that right there is a critter burrow. So we could rustle up some chow for this guy. And as you may have noticed, the primary method of growing in this game is by questing, which mostly consists of gathering quests. However, there are plans to completely rework the questing system in a future update, which is very much needed since it is exceedingly basic and, as many have pointed out, really monotonous and boring. So that will come in due time. This in particular is a recent new map for the game. So the game only has 2 maps, one that the game originally released in, and Gondola here is the current map, which I think is incredible. It has a really nice mix of biomes, a lot of distinct landmarks, and it's just a really well-crafted map. So this burrow has Didelphodon, which is a species of mammal from the Mesozoic. For those of you that watched the Walking with Dinosaurs documentary, this is the mammal species that was in the Death of a Dynasty episode. And yeah, unfortunately, it just got itself stuck on the terrain. Or maybe fortunately, depending on your point of view. So I think the model on the Didelphodon is really good. It does a really good job of showcasing it as a relatively early mammal. There, you can have it. Yeah, there was... Oh, right, okay, so something else I actually wanted to bring up. Who here has seen Prehistoric Planet? Because that has been a recent documentary series that I very much did want to discuss on the channel, and at the very least I could discuss it live with some of you and see what your thoughts have been, or even who has heard of it. All right, so just real quickly, Giovanni, to your question about paleontology in Europe. It's difficult to say which school because different schools have different programs, and paleontology usually isn't just a single program, but rather part of other programs. So, more typically, geology or even biology. So, I would recommend looking at various schools that you're interested in, and look at the profs in those departments, both biology and geology. See what their subjects of interest are, and reach out to them as well. Depending on whether you're in high school or already looking for colleges to apply to, it's good just to let them know what your current interests are and what areas of research you're interested in, because paleontology comes in a lot of different flavors. As I mentioned in my video previously, I ended up studying paleontology through stable isotope measurements, which are proxies for all sorts of environmental and biological factors that it would take forever for me to just explain that, but that's just one method of doing it. You have the more classical approach, which is more tied to biology, which is through studying fossils and anatomy. Others focus more on genetics, and though for those you'll often work more with living dinosaurs, aka birds. And still others might take a more geological approach and just study sediments and whatnot from the past. There's all kinds of ways to study paleontology, and I think an important factor if you are serious about getting into the field is don't get fixated on what you may traditionally view paleontology as. There are many avenues of studying it, and you might be surprised at what methods you end up being interested in. As I said, I was not really into isotopes before I went to university. And so when I ended up studying isotopes, I was a little nervous at first, but I did end up enjoying it at the end. And I think it's something that I would still want to keep doing, because isotopes can teach so much about what life in the past was like in ways that you wouldn't really be able to get with other more traditional ways of studying paleontology. But that's just one example. There are many ways of doing it. I think looking for specific supervisors who do study paleontology, especially in universities close to you, is a great start. Because you want to find a program that works for you, and contacting specific profs is the best way of going about doing it. So masters, it depends. From what I gather, a master's in Europe is highly dependent on the country. With Italy, I'm not really familiar with it. I've only applied to, I've tried a couple times to apply in Britain and once in Germany. And usually with a master's degree, the primary focus is for a research topic that you're actively studying rather than taking classes. And this is an important detail because this changes from school to school and from country to country. But you... Oh, that's a fight going on. But yeah, so it changes from university to university, and so it's really good when you do reach out to ask the prof what expectations they have, both personally and from within the program, for the kind of research that is expected of you. So typically, with my master's, for instance, I had 2 years, or 2 years to do a research topic. So that required me to get samples and do all the lab work that is necessary, and then write up a paper for submission. And that's usually what most masters are like. A PhD is a lot more is required of it, as it's a bigger investment. Again, the specific requirements change from school to school, although usually the primary expectation is that you will have multiple papers tied to your research topic, and then also that you will have to also do a thesis defense. Since all your papers are going to be related to each other, you typically present it to a committee and then need to defend it to make sure that it holds up well. Again, the specifics are difficult to judge because it depends on the program you're applying for in the university, so something else to consider when you are looking for supervisors that you want to work with. Also, when looking for supervisors, be sure to look up their papers. See what kind of research they've done and what their methodologies are like, and see if that interests you. So I hope that helps you, Giovanni. I'm noticing I'm starting to get a little low on water, so I think we'll probably have to go find a spot for that. Unfortunately, these rivers are saltwater, so they're not drinkable. Thankfully, this river system up here I know is fresh water, so I think we're going to head over there. But first, I'm going to catch another Didelphodon for a mission. It's no trouble at all. But yeah, so on the topic of Prehistoric Planet, if some of you have not heard of it, definitely go check it out. It's on Apple TV Plus. It is the best up-to-date dinosaur documentary that is out there, and it recently got announced for a season 2, which many people were not expecting, including myself. I wasn't expecting something this soon. So definitely check out the first season and check out the second one whenever it comes out, which I believe is going to be in a few months. Absolutely incredible piece of paleo media, or just documentary in general, not even paleo media. Does a great job at showcasing what life was like in the Mesozoic, and specifically at the end of the Cretaceous period, which is when the series takes place. Because the documentary is meant to show life at the same time around the planet. Oh, and the lag screwed me over. Damn. Oh well. It happens in this game. Oh, wait a minute. Did he get stuck again? Oh, he did. Well, I got lucky. Yeah, unfortunately, the Thalassodromeus in this game is built more for fishing, which is why even hunting a little thing like this on the ground is difficult, to say the least. I think the Tarchia looks incredible, and I really, really can't wait to see it in full. I'm very curious to see what they do with it. Yeah, speaking of the Tarchia, though, even though Anomalocars is what made this channel popular in the first place, the Ankylosaurs, which are the armored dinosaurs, like Tarchia, are in fact my favorite group of dinosaurs. So that species in particular is going to be really cool to see in the show. And yeah, I'm just really looking forward to that. This game only has one Ankylosaur species, which is Anodontosaurus, and it's also one that I really enjoy playing as. I think he flew into a tree there. Alright, water quality is low, which means there's a possibility that there's something in here. Apologies for the lack of commentary at times. It's not exactly something I'm used to. Oh, okay. It's not loading in properly. Oh, thanks for bringing that up. So Bloodlines Agate is another project that For those of you who aren't aware, it's basically an indie documentary set in the Agate Formation. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Which is a formation in North America during the Miocene epoch. So that is to say, it takes place during the Cenozoic, so after the age of dinosaurs, and features a lot of groups of mammals that are either not around today or the ancestors of a lot of modern animals, which are very different from how a lot of you may recognize them as. It's also voiced by the legendary Nigel Marven of Prehistoric Park and Chased by Dinosaurs fame, and it's something I am very much looking forward to. I really wish that I did this live stream a month earlier so that I could encourage a lot of you to support it on Kickstarter, but alas, the Kickstarter is officially over, but they did meet their goal. So it is going to be a reality, and I encourage all of you who have not heard of it before to keep an eye out for it in the future, as it's going to be something really incredible to see as it develops. For other projects to keep an eye out for, there's Prehistoric Kingdom, which is a park building game with a large focus on creativity and accuracy of its depictions of ancient life. It got an update just last week, which, or actually, I think it was this week even, which has the Paraceratherium, also known, if you remember Walking with Beasts, the Indricothere, which are giant, long-necked rhinoceros relatives, and among the largest land mammals on the planet to have ever lived. And it's just a really well-made game, and the only reason why I'm not streaming that is because my laptop is not strong enough to run that game, which is a shame because I really, really do enjoy the game. It runs so poorly because of how high-end it is. Okay, and to answer Octrane's question, what would I say to people who wish for their own passion projects, like the one I'm saying to start working on it? It's better to have tried and failed than to have never tried at all. It's kind of rich coming from me because I'm rather notorious for starting projects and never finishing them, but at least experimenting to see whether or not it works for you is a really good achievement in of itself, because it helps you as a person grow and learn more about yourself and what you want out of life. And it's a big reason why I discovered the project that I'm currently working on. I thought about what kind of stuff do I enjoy doing? What are my boundaries? What am I capable of? And then from there, I am able to figure out what I want from life, and was able to find something that I'm passionate about, can realistically work on a regular basis, and also something that I can improve on as well over time. So it's a skill that I can develop, but is also one that I still have the capacity of actually working on. On that note, though, of passion projects and skill sets. Oh, that's a Sarcosuchus. And it's fighting a T-Rex. Alright, I will return to my point in a second, but for now, let's watch this play out. Oh man. So it looks like an adult Tyrannosaurus with two younger individuals swimming across the riverbed. Oh, they were just crossing. They weren't even interested in actually fighting the Sarcosuchus. So, continuing on from what my point I was trying to make before, for those of you who do want to see what that kind of passion is like, and are interested in paleontology and whatnot, look up Dead Sound and his Dinosaur series. He is an independent animator, and he worked on a series of shorts set in the Mesozoic period, following the lives of different dinosaurs. Absolutely stellar animation work. Really, really beautiful animation work. And more fantastically, I would say, he does a great job of storytelling without actually using any dialogue. He portrays them as animals, but still gives them personalities, and it's just an absolute joy to watch his stuff. So definitely check it out. It's a short series, but even then, I would say look at all of his videos. He does incredible animation, and they're just really, really good stuff to watch. Very big recommended for me to check out his videos. Yeah, don't worry. There are two ways of taking off in this game with the Thalassodromeus. The first is the quad launch, which is how pterosaurs actually took off. But you could also just drop from a cliff and open your wings up to fly. And by the way, for those of you who do play Path of Titans, Green Hills is usually a very relaxing place to come and quest. I very rarely encounter other players here, and you get some good questing while also getting access to fresh water and food. Also, the lighting right now, if anyone's ever played these games, reminds me a lot of Primal Prey, which is an old 90s dinosaur hunting game. It's rather notorious for not being well polished, but also very short draw distance, often accompanied with very harsh lighting, which is not too dissimilar from what's going on over here with the yellow sky. Reminds me a lot about that game. So to Divine Rider, I'm glad that I could instill some confidence in you. That the fear of failure has been a very, very real problem of mine that I've been struggling with for years, trying to work on. And I would say only now have I actually been making any real progress towards addressing and fixing that issue of mine. So I would definitely suggest if you have any things that you want to experiment with or try, go for it. You literally have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And if nothing else, if you're trying to develop a new skill, depending on what kind of project it is, it's also good to develop yourself further and push yourself. And even the project that I'm currently working on, while it is something more within my comfort zone, it is I still have to push myself and actively improve myself in order to make it a reality. And it's one that I hope to actually accomplish and share with all of you when as it does get worked on. Also, yeah, the Quetzalcoatlus in that game were incredibly funny. Primal Prey is a bit of a hidden gem, honestly. It's not a great game, but out of all like the dinosaur games out there, it's sort of a guilty pleasure of mine. The the dinosaurs themselves were designed by the legendary Louis V. Ray, which is a well-known paleo artist with a very distinct style, and it really shows in the dinosaur designs in in that game. Only 9 species present, but all of them have sexual dimorphism, which is to say, males and females have different appearances, and just really nice sound work. And the AI honestly isn't too bad either in that game. The biggest problems are the mission, the missions, the fact there's only one map and it's rather small and limited, and a few other technical problems. But besides that, I feel it's a game worth checking out if you have the means to do it. Oh, there's a Styracosaurus right here. Oh, it's it's a dead Styracosaurus. Well, there was a dead Styracosaurus. Thankfully, considering how low the quality was, if it was killed, it must have been a while ago. Actually, I'm almost tempted to say that the Tyrannosaurs that we saw were responsible for it. But it could have been anything, honestly. It's actually the first Styracosaurus I've seen in this game in a very long time. Oh, I didn't even see the Anodontos. It was the Carnivores Hunter, which, for those who don't know, Carnivores is another old dinosaur hunting game with a still active modding community, surprisingly. It's a game whose style and personality is one I'm very fond of. Oh, I hear something. I will be back momentarily. Alright, I'm going to take this as an opportunity to remind everyone, be sure to hydrate yourself. And with that, I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. Hope everyone is staying hydrated. It's often to forget that. Alright, so this little guy is a Paleosonia, which is a species of, I think, monitor lizard, and I might be wrong, but this might be from the Hell Creek Formation as well, which means it would have lived alongside Tyrannosaurus, Triceratops, Pachycephalosaurus, and the like. I think it's about time we check out a hotspot. See some more player action from other people. I always get a little nervous when doing those dive bombs, because I'm always afraid that the game is going to lag just a little bit too much and I won't be able to pull up in time. So, also apologies for any dips in frame rate. It might be the stream, but it could also just be the game, because just don't have the best luck with this game sometimes. Oh, we might actually see some Pycnonemasaurus, which is a relatively recent addition to the game. One that I'm both really happy is in the game, but also not happy with how it was handled. Pycnonemasaurus is a fragmentary abelisaur, so that is to say, a relative of Carnotaurus. The problem is the developers took that a bit too literally, and the base subspecies, as well as one of the other subspecies, is pretty much just Carnotaurus, which is a real shame because Carnotaurus is much better as its own thing, and Pycnonemasaurus is just seen as a copycat in this game as a result of that. Speaking of, I could have sworn I just heard it stomping around. This could be a massive mistake, but I'm going to try anyway. This is an area that usually gets a lot of traffic. And speaking of, that might be an Allosaurus. It's getting really close to, but thankfully I should be able to take off fast enough before it can get to me. Probably thinks that I don't know it's there, but I do. It's him. It's the Morrison. Yeah, I'm curious what other questions you guys have. What kind of, if you do play any dinosaur games, which ones do you enjoy playing? I hear something nearby. That's a Pycnonemosaurus. So it's a little hard to tell from this distance, but you can see he's got arms so small that you can't even see them from here. They're smaller than even a Tyrannosaurus's arms. But I'm not too concerned. He seems to be on the small side. Granted, Pycnonemosaurus can be rather fast since one of its abilities in this game is to charge. But even then, I don't think it would be able to catch me before I get near. That little one looks like a concavenator. Concavenators are small relatives of Carcharodontosaurus and Giganotosaurus from Spain, with the most distinctive feature being several raised spines over the hips that give it a almost shark fin-like look to it. Although, granted, unlike a shark fin, they have actual bones in them. So if I can get close enough, you should be able to see the... there it is, yeah. It's got a little hump over the back. That's how you can tell it's a concavenator. And yeah, that Pictonemosaurus has the Carnotaurus horns, which is a shame. That concavenator is getting a little bit too close for my liking. Thankfully, I think it's more preoccupied with annoying the Pictonemosaurus. Oh, or actually, I think they're just working on the local quest. What are my thoughts on the upcoming species for the game? Or let me answer Jurassician first. Yeah, I agree. I don't like how they made Thalassofish fish specialist. I'd mentioned that earlier. Yeah, no, I agree. I think making it a terrestrial ground predator would have been way, way more fitting and more interesting of a playstyle. Because as it is right now, the Thalassodromeus is way too frail to actually really compete with anything else. So it's just more of a scout, but unlike, say, the Deinonychus or Camptosaurus, it's a scout that can't really get involved with the other species. So it just ends up being it's fun to just fly around and just relax, but it's not so fun to just engage with others because you can't really engage. So it's a rather boring playstyle in that aspect. And I do hope in the future they add more abilities to it to give it like an alternate playstyle. where you can completely forego being active in the air or the water for more favorable ground combat. Of course, the problem there is it would also need to be competent enough to not get one or easily die to things its own size. Although on that note, the Thalassodromeus in this game is actually oversized. It's a little too big. But the Hatzegopteryx is going to be added to the game, which is one of the largest pterosaurs and thus one of the largest flying animals to have ever existed. And my only hope is that they don't make the same mistake as with this guy and accidentally make it a swimmer. And the reason why I say that is because in the shop, which I can't even access from here, there's there's a pack which is going to include the Thalassodromeus, and this is for people who haven't purchased the whole game, which gives you the Thalassodromeus, the Kaiwekia, which is a species of plesiosaur, Urinosaurus, which is a species of ichthyosaur, and the Hatzegopteryx. And the name of the pack is based more on seafaring, which is what makes me nervous, because that implies that the Hatzegopteryx will have some sort of aquatic abilities, which it really shouldn't. It should be something that is capable of flight, but whose combat abilities are entirely tied to the ground. I think that would be the best way of going about it, and if they don't do that, if they make it some sort of weird aerial predator, then I will be rather disappointed. Urinosaurus I have much better hopes for. I find Kaiwekia fun to control, but rather slow. And so because of that, it's not particularly fun to get into fights with, especially with its long neck. But Urinosaurus seems like it would be interesting. It's a very distinct ichthyosaur too. It's literally built like a swordfish or a marlin. It has a very distinct body plan that is unlike what most people imagine when they think of ichthyosaurs. Yeah, I knew that Concavinator would come for me at some point. If I was a subadult instead of an adolescent, I would be tempted to try to engage with it, especially since we have a numbers advantage. But yeah, no, at this size, I don't feel confident enough in battling as Thalassodromeus. It would be funny to try, though. But more importantly, my Thalassodromeus is hungry. And if there's anything that Thalassodromeus would have hunted, it's baby dinosaurs. There's three of them. Never mind. Yeah, okay. One of them was a possibility. Three of them is a hard no. Oh, someone joined the group. Oh, it's a Spinosaurus. Hello, Doom Lizard. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, this is something that I've been wanting to do for a while since I had mentioned I was going to do a video at some point, but that hadn't fallen through. To get the long and short of it, I won't be making videos anytime soon, but I haven't given up on projects. PhD hadn't worked out what I wanted, but I'm not giving up and still trying to find my way. And with that, I hope you are having a good night as well. We are currently playing some Path of Titans. I would say, if there is a change made for questing in the future, specifically gathering quests, I think it would be really cool if gathering materials could be put towards actually doing something. So, for instance, shellfish, for instance, on the waterfront, be it clam shells or snail shells or whatever. It'd be really cool if those aided a little bit in your hunger meter, since a lot of animals do consume bones and occasionally crustaceans of some kind as a form of getting nutrients into them. So, for instance, there was a hadrosaur, I forget which species, but there were contents of crabs in its stomach, which showed that it had been feeding on them. And this isn't particularly unusual behavior. Even a lot of herbivores, even today, will consume meat to a certain extent, especially bones. Bones is a good source of calcium for a lot of animals, even if they're herbivores. So that'd be something that'd be potentially really cool to get implemented if like gathering actually worked towards something. And for instance, gathering branches can go towards nest building, if that ever becomes a feature of some kind. Same thing with lakeweed. Lakeweed can be either a source of nutrients if it's an herbivore, or it could be a nesting material. Now, I believe there was a carcass on this island. It's been a while since I've been here, so I don't remember where it is. I guess it must have despawned. Oh well. Oh, I was checking the text chat and completely neglected a rat. Oh man, this thing is super nimble. Alright, and it's stuck in the rock. Yeah. Oh, can't tell if he just left or if he got killed. I guess we'll find out in the text chat. Oh, okay. Yeah, no worries, Allosaurus. Glad you were able to drop in. Yeah, I'm not sure how long I'll keep going for. I might stream for another maybe half hour, maybe an hour. We'll see how it goes. Actually, let's take a moment to check the skins for this guy. So using the marks that you get from doing quests, you can actually change the skin of the animal you're playing as. There's a really nice selection, depending on the species, of patterns and colors. I think for this particular one, I'm debating between silvery, maybe speckled, and maybe razorbill. Ideally going for something with some degree of camouflage so it doesn't stick out too much, but not too bland of a skin either. Drawing streams? Potentially. Tribute to anomalous cars too. Who knows? Maybe. But drawing streams, that's a possibility. I can't guarantee it'll happen, but if there's enough demand for it, I might. I don't know how interested people would be in seeing me draw. I'm hearing heavy footsteps and that's scaring me. This is telling me that the game is not rendering whatever's right there. Oh, it's a Barsboldia. Yeah, so Barsboldia are one of the largest herbivores in the game. They're gigantic hadrosaurs, and incredibly slow but incredibly strong is essentially the playstyle that they have. I really like them, although the one I grew is on the other map, and you can't transfer creatures to different maps yet, so unfortunately it would not be possible to for me to show it off here. Because I do really like this map, and I think it's a better showcase. Plus, growing a Barsboldia from scratch would be painfully slow. Like, if you think the growth on my Thalassodromeus has been bad, it is so much worse on Barsboldia. Actually, yeah, I can't afford a new skin, so let's see. Oh, oh. I think the Spinosaurus tried to add the Barsboldia to the group. Thankfully, you cannot have animals of different diets be in the same group. I say thankfully because mixed packing can be a bit of a problem in this game. Hmm. I think this one I really like. Oh, I think I might go for this actually. Alright, and yeah, that's a hide I'm not going to get, so it's fine. Yeah, unfortunately, since I'm still only halfway through Adolescent, I've still got a good portion of the juvenile skin on, so the skin won't come completely through until I'm about halfway through a sub-adult. Oh man, I would love for fossil fires to make a return. Unfortunately, the original developers are no longer around, so even for a Switch fossil fighters, I think the odds of that are extremely low. Oh, oh, I have no idea what happened with that Dinosaurus. Oh, it's dead. I'm actually curious what oh, he's another Spinosaurus. That's cool. Alright, yeah, you can see a good portion of the adult skin at least. Okay, again, I'm hearing stomping even though there's nothing close to me. Maybe it's a ghost of a dinosaur. You know, there's not enough dinosaur ghosts in fiction. You hear all the time about, like, haunted, like, pets, ghost children, women, men, soldiers, like, pretty much ghosts of everything, but you never hear of ghost dinosaurs. And you think, with how long they've been around, there would be some dinosaur ghosts roaming around, but there aren't. Why is that? That looks like another Allosaurus. Oh no, another branch quest. I'm just going to deliver clams. Now this is good for getting marks, but you don't get any growth until it's fully complete, which is unfortunate. If I wasn't so dedicated to a terrestrial Thalassodromeus playstyle, I would go get fish because I know they fill it up faster. But at the same time, people are going to keep drinking from this water, so it's never going to fill up all the way. So if you ever want to farm marks on this game, this is how you do it. You get the water quality well, and you just keep doing this. You get 100 marks after just delivering 5 stuff, so it's a really good investment. Well, that's a Megalania. Oh, you can actually see a fair amount of the skin. That's a fair point regarding ghost dinosaurs. Counterpoint. Can you imagine a Tyrannosaurus who's been incapable of moving on to the next life for 66 million years? I think that's a really interesting story that could be told. I wouldn't go there, Max Miller. You're in for a bad time. Oh, that is a, is that a Tyrannosaurus? Indeed it is. I don't trust that Megalania. He seems chill, but you can never be too sure. I'm glad to hear that the stream is helping you feel relaxed. That's one of the things I like about Path to Titan specifically. It helps me feel relaxed and just laid back. Even though there's always the threat of being hunted and killed. There's just something weirdly relaxing about this game. I just wish it was a little easier to see at night. It's not terrible, but it could be better. It might be easier on your screens with the stream, but on my end, with the lights I have on, it's a little difficult. Maybe that's by design, I'm not sure. Oh, something's over here. I'd probably be able to know if I could see it. I think after this branch quest, I'm going to move to a different spot just to change up the scenery. It's a good questing spot, but it's been a good long while. And branch quest is kind of poo-poo. think that's the Megalania over there. Something here, and I don't like how close it is. I think that's the Allosaurus. I hear it, but I can't see it. Oh no, there it is. I think that's the Tyrannosaurus I'm hearing too. So yeah, the sooner I get to the other side of the area, the better. I wonder where that other guy went. Is he still in the group? I must have moved on to somewhere else. Yeah, I don't think this branch quest is worth finishing. Way too much effort for something that's not regenerating fast enough. So, I say we check out... You know what? We're going to the salt plains. What better way to end the stream, I think, than go in there. Oh, I think there's food, actually. Oh, jeez. That's 2 baby Eotriceratops. Okay. I'm not going to turn this down. Oh, that's an Anodontosaurus. Oh, that's a Daspletosaurus. Oh no. Don't do it. Leave that out. No. Aw. Oh, is it a mix pack? I think it is. Oh, that's a mix pack. Oh, that's no good. Man, that's an unfortunate thing to see. You hate to see that. Especially for a baby Spino to get involved. Like, how bad at the game do you need to be that you need, like, 5 animals of both herbivores and carnivores to kill a baby Spinosaurus? Like, really? How bad do you have to be? For real. Look at that. It's a good thing I got out of there when I did. Oh, it's a Camptosaurus. Baby one, too. Yeah, Camptosaurus really recently had its redesign announced. I can't get a good look at this one because it's so skittish. Oh, I'm almost tempted. I don't think I can catch it, but... Oh, what the heck. Let's go for a hunt. Ah, well. I gave it an honest shot, but it's just too fast for me. I could probably chase it down, but Campto has it hard enough as it is. Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, I wonder if those 2 Eotriceratops are part of that mix pack, and that's why the Spino got killed. Would not surprise me in the slightest. And again, I'm hearing heavy footsteps even though there's nothing big around me. That looks like a Tyrannosaurus, I think. It's a pretty fast one, though. Maybe it's a speed species. Yeah, that is definitely a Tyrannosaurus. Here's something attacking the Anodontosaurus. I hope something kills those guys. Genuinely hope so. That's another Tyrannosaurus. Oh, it's got a Latin Venatrix with it too. Just barely saw it, but it's a small, troodontid dinosaur. That is to say, close relatives of Dromaeosaurus, but a little different. And that right there is a Deinonychus. Oh, there's two of them. Oh, jeez. If that guy knew I was here, I would have been dead. I didn't even get a good look at what it was. I think it was a Metriacanthosaurus, but I'm not even sure. Yeah, no, you're not getting a bite out of me, sir. Sir, sir, please. No attacking me today, sir. I can't even tell if he's actually doing that or if we just have to keep going in the same direction. Oh, that was a little lag spike. Sorry about that. Okay, once the Salt Rock quest is done, I'm going to head to the Ocean Pillars. And that'll... Okay, well, I think I'm going to head to the Ocean Pillars and then call it quits there. Where is Ocean Pillars? Oh, okay, that's a really scenic place actually to end it off. And there's a body of fresh water right over there too. Yeah, unfortunately, mixed packing is just a problem that like needs. It's why I think unofficial servers, these kind of like simulator games will never work. You need some degree of moderation, otherwise, extremely convoluted in-game restrictions that will hold back the rest of the game. Because for me, one of the charms about Path of Titans, especially on officials, is the fact that when you meet people, you never know what will happen. Like, you might meet like the most bloodthirsty, kill-hungry Anodontosaurus ever, or you might meet the most chill, relaxed Tyrannosaurus player ever. And that kind of randomness is just something I really like. It feels very much like part of the appeal of playing casual in TF2. Like, you got the tryhards, but you also got the friendlies. All the wacky stuff that happens is part of the charm of this game. And sure, when you end up encountering something like a mixed pack that requires like 50 people to kill you because individually they each and every one of them would have lost to you, I think that's made up for when you encounter like when you have the little moments that just stick with you. Here, I'll let them do their questing over there. This reminds me of Flight of the Ornithochirus, for those of you who've seen Walking with Dinosaurs. That's one of the good things actually about getting older as a Thalassodromeus. I noticed that my stamina bar is lasting way more in flight than when I was younger. Which I suppose that makes sense. I suppose an older a pterosaur got, the better it would be able to last for long distance gliding. Alright, so actually this is a pretty good spot to pause because considering I have a geology degree, I can explain what this is. So, even though this looks very artificial with the angular formation that they got, this is actually a type of naturally occurring mineral structure. And given the fact that it's close to a volcano, it also makes sense that this would be the result of volcanic formation. More specifically, minerals hardening as the lava cools forms these structures. So a lot of minerals have an internal, or rather have a fixed mineral structure, which is the most stable for them. I don't recall the name of this specific mineral that forms this shape, but this is very common. This is a type of structure that is seen in areas that used to be volcanic, and this is based off a real life location. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, unfortunately. But if ever I stream Path Science again, I'll be sure to have it handily written down. It is really cool. Just see, this is what I like about this map. You don't see this kind of thing in other dinosaur sims. It's very unique to Path of Titans, and I appreciate the amount of effort that went into making this map for this kind of environment. Because I don't think I've ever seen in artwork or anything dinosaurs depicted in this kind of volcanic region. You see a lot of dinosaurs next to volcanoes, but never with these specific mineral structures. Oh, that's pretty cool. I wasn't aware that Ark had them as well. Um, basalt sounds about right, but I'm not 100% certain because basalt is a type of volcanic rock, but it comes in a lot of different shapes. It's not restricted to just this. So, if I remember correctly from one of my mineralogy courses, basalt, what determines the type of volcanic rock is largely dependent on the mineral composition. So you could potentially get basalt rocks that look like that, but not all basalt rocks look like that, if that makes sense. Oh, hold up a sec. I've actually never noticed this cave before. I just hope I'm not so tall I can't enter it. Huh. I like these little hidey holes that are across the map. A lot of places for small dinosaurs and juveniles to hide in. I would log out here, except there's a home cave nearby, and I need water. I overshot it. Oof. Lag almost made me run into a tree. Oh boy. I really hope there's no sarcos in this water, because I do not have the stamina for an easy takeoff. Alright, and with that I'm going to end it here. So, to everyone who visited the stream live, thank you so much, and for everyone who rewatches this stream on your own time, thank you again as well. I really can't thank everyone enough for all the support over the years. It's really meant a lot. And things are going to change and become better, and I hope the best for each and every one of you. So thank you again so